let's get started. All right. Welcome to ICE 2025.2. It is a pleasure to have you all here, and there's going to be plenty more people joining and coming or coming later and leaving again, and then there's another day tomorrow. So it's all a whatever you like, you come and go. That's fantastic. Sweet. All right. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping just to let you know how things work around here with the interface of GoToWebinar platform that we're currently using, in case you have not used it before. So there's the microphone button, camera button, share button. That's mostly just for the presenters and speakers, and they already know how this stuff works. Then if there are questions, there's a specific questions window that looks like this one here. There's also a chat window where you can send some messages and love and heart emojis and all of that stuff. Yeah, so I think that should be pretty self-explanatory. So let's move on. Sweet. So the community, we have a couple of websites and platforms that we're active on. So first of all, there's the LinkedIn group specifically for this community. So, and I'm going to be sharing the link in a second. Then there is the Discord channel, where you can also join. At the moment today, it's where we don't have it active today because we sadly had to, or our host for today canceled, and so I didn't have the time to set this up or also manage this in parallel today myself. And then obviously you guys all have been on the website to register, but there's also more social media links to other platforms like the YouTube channel and Instagram and all of those other nice things. So let me just very briefly send all of those links here in the chat, and then you can go and check those out. So it's easier that you don't have to type all of this stuff down. Sweet. All right. Cool. So conference team, just very briefly, main organizer and host today, that's me. I am Matthias Buehler. And then in the extended team, also in the background, there is Robert, who's also with us today right now, checking everything works in the background. Then there's also Christian and Angel, who have been helping me with different other things, like on the marketing side, and especially also what you see here in the background is really nice like physical backdrop for the or basically a recording studio upgrade which we made, so that it's not an image, it's not a background, it's physical. And so this is the very first day to actually be using this. So it's a really cool place and setting, and thanks to my team for having made this possible and planning the things and building the stuff. So that's really cool. Sweet. Yeah, sponsor Urban, also my company helping with this stuff here. Then obviously something like this is not possible, especially to share the word, to share the love across multiple, let's say, social media platforms and spheres and industries. So we have a bunch of partners like the FMX conference, BenQ, the famous company for consumer electronics and especially high quality monitors, then the International Game Developers Association, Equeta Arts, very good friends working in the visual effects sphere, GDBay working in the games industry, Ideal Spaces, historians and architectural theorists, digital production, our friends that are basically working in the media space, talking about all the news about audio and hardware and video and visual effects and all of those aspects. Then the World Visual Effects Day, very similar, let's say, event. The next event is going to be on 8th of December, organized by a really cool team around Haley. And then continuing Arcware. Some of you may know Arcware. Arcware is basically an Unreal streaming solution, GPU based. They have the servers and you can upload your 3D scene and stream them or stream the pixels, but based on Unreal. Really cool. Then the View conference also going to be happening next or in the next 2 weeks or after October 12th. So I'm going to be there also, meeting my friends there. So that's going to be in Turin, Italy. Looking forward to that. Obviously, famously also the Visual Effects Society, where I am a member, and I'm also more and more active on the management team of the Germany section. Then my good friend Mike, also the MH Tutorials YouTube channel. Always a pleasure to be in calls with him and to meet him also in private life as a very, very dear friend of mine, meanwhile. And last but not least in the list, as you see, is Chaos, the developers of tools like Chaos, like V-Ray and other things. And yeah, so big thanks to all of the partners to be with us and share the love with the community and help pushing the positive spirit. All right. Now, in the last event in April, we introduced this concept basically of the key visual. Back then in April, it was provided by Marco Iozzi, and you see the visual that we used back then. So the idea was there to really kind of live the focus of artists or art in general, and also say, hey, let's use artwork for the branding of the conference that is actually produced by actual artists. And so this is a concept image which Marco made. And then so over the weeks and few months after that, we said, okay, let's try to do a competition for the next key visual. I didn't plan enough time. I was a bit swamped with all of that stuff, so we didn't really get much feedback on that yet, but we'll do this next time better next time. So and then I said, hey, but I want to continue this idea of a key visual, and I said, hey, let me, because I want to go back to drawing. So I did something myself, and that's what came out. So that's a painting of basically of a cave, and it's obviously also inspired by a lot of, let's say, personal thoughts, personal experiences, and so on. And it is still related to an environment. And it was very, very interesting to see when I was working on that image for many hours, just basically refining the lights and the colors and so on, and just to see how the color is working, and the light is bouncing off these cliffs, and yeah, so that was a really, really cool experience also for me, again, because I'm working way too much on the computer, just in general, to be able to be creative again. Yeah, so I think we're going to continue this more, or try again with making a competition out of this, and basically source more of the visuals from the actual community. So yeah, maybe next time we see some of your entries. It would be really cool. All right. So First day. Today we are talking about automotive visualization, and because at the ICE conference we're always linking these things to the creation of environments. And in this context today we have 3 speakers, and it's a really a cool combination of different things related to cars, related to visualizing things and storytelling, obviously. And so the first presentation is by Sam. He's actually been presenting before, about 3 years ago. So back then he was working on a game, and he might touch on that. But now this time he's working on something completely different, but that has to do with vintage cars. Now after that we'll have a presentation by Jay, whom I actually got to know last year when I was presenting at a conference, at the Visage conference organized by some of the partners by Equate Arts in Nairobi, Kenya. So he was also presenting there, and I got to know his work and himself back then. And so he's kind enough to be with us today and talk about his world. And that is the world of building realistic looking cities and environments in the context of car visualization, obviously, but in this case, Lotus cars, which is obviously super cool. And then last but not least today, also already super famous, is Farouk with his company, The Scope, talking about his approach, or his company's approach, to procedurally building CG city locations in Houdini, and how that stuff is then potentially, we'll see, right? How is that used in different contexts? So I'm really curious also to hear more about that, and I'm very excited that he's with us today, and obviously also willing to share some of his wisdom and insight with all of us. Yeah, so after each presentation, we'll have a short Q&A, and then we'll join together with all of the speakers in a short panel discussion. Yeah, and then after that, there's the fun stuff, the prize lottery, but I'll talk about this later. So without further ado, I would say let's welcome Sam and then hand the word over to him.